Welcome to the Patrice Brantley Show, where helping others is the name of the game. And on this show, we push purpose, positivity, and personal growth. Today, we have the pleasure of chatting with Miss Caitlyn Burchard. I got to tell y'all, I love her out of the box therapy. I want to tell y'all just a little bit about her. She's an entrepreneur who's going to share with her story today, her story from pain to purpose to promise using pulmonary therapy. Did I say it right?
Polarity therapy.
Polarity therapy. Y'all got to forgive me. Y'all heard my country come out, right? So,
No,
with
yeah, it's
this,
okay.
I love this because this is something new and it's something that I believe will help each and every one of us in our health care journey. But before we get into this, I need you to make sure that you call a friend, let them know that we are on. Make sure that they, one, are following us at Patrice Brantley now. Excuse me, Patrice Brantley now, the voice of purpose. Make sure on IG they're following Patrice Brantley now. Make sure on Facebook they're following Patrice Brantley, the voice of purpose now. Make sure they're following us on YouTube at 3S Movement and on Facebook at 3S Movement. And if that's not enough, come on and follow me on LinkedIn at Patrice B slash 3S Move. Before we jump in, hey, I have an announcement. Join me for a virtual life burnout group starting May 1st, 6 o'clock. Don't be late. We're going to be jumping in and talking about coping skills, ways you can help yourself recover from life's burnout. All right. I can't hold this any longer, y'all. We're going to walk on in. I need y'all to welcome, welcome, welcome. Give them all the energy. Give them all the energy. Give them all the energy. Come on, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Welcome, Miss Caitlyn. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. I am so excited to hear about this because as I was, talking with you a little bit earlier, and I want everybody to know what's your story? What got you into this particular type of therapy? And take us to the beginning. I understand there was some health concerns. Start us there.
Okay. Well, I ran a successful massage therapy and personal training practice up in Boston, where I'm from. But I always felt like it just wasn't doing enough for my clients. Like people weren't actually getting better or like getting results. It was like very short-lived. And I see a counselor. I saw her bi-weekly, and in one of our sessions, she was like, "You have to add polarity therapy to your practice. That's what you're missing." And I was
So
like
wait a
you, I'm like,
minute.
I don't even know what.
What is
Yeah,
polarity therapy?
I know, right? That's what I said. Polarity therapy is it is like this complex, beautiful alternative medicine that really treats the whole human on a mind, body, soul level. The creator of polarity therapy was a chiropractor, osteopath, and naturopath. And he, like me, was like, people really aren't getting that much better using these clinical models that I'm in. I'm going to go find out how they can get better. So he traveled the world extensively, training with like all kinds of gurus and different ancient and modern healing practices. And then he drew aspects out of all of those things and he put it all together into polarity therapy. So there's four pillars to polarity. There is dialogue or counseling to get like your mindset right. There is a bodywork component. So we use different methods of touch during the session. And we follow the body's energy maps, of which there are many. Um, and then there is a nutritional component, which is based pretty heavily in Ayurveda. Um, a movement component. So the creator, Dr. Stone, he also made his own yoga called Polarity Yoga or energy exercises, which is also based like I would say more on like the Hatha yoga method, would you call it? But most of the poses are actually around like fetal development and how energy is created and developed as you develop in your body.
So
And so it
I,
really seeks to connect. Yeah, go ahead.
I love this because it seems like it connects every piece that people kind of struggle with throughout. I love how you're saying it connects the counseling piece to make sure that your mindset is right. You talked about the body work part. You talked about the essential piece, the food, but then also the movement. That's what I look at it as, the movement, getting physical, doing
Right.
something, right? So,
Mhm.
how have you used this in your own life?
So the way that I view polarity therapy is it's everywhere. It's in everything. This is basically like without, getting too spiritual, although I am like pretty spiritual. Polarity therapy is like God medicine. It's consciousness packaged into a modality. And so I use polarity in my everyday life, not just like when I'm receiving it or giving it. um, the way that we fuse the dialogue and counseling together with the body work, so you get them at the same time. You're able to make these connections to yourself on such a deeper level. So it really addresses the mind in a way that touch therapies don't, and it addresses the body in a way that talk therapies don't. And you're able to kind of decode your body's symbolism, and like things that are you're feeling, to give you insight to patterns you might be in, or acknowledging emotions that you weren't aware were there. Sometimes people like, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm honestly just holding space. And
Wow.
so for me, polarity therapy, and I, part of becoming a practitioner is that I have to receive polarity therapy regularly. I also have to make sure that I'm doing a lot of my own personal development, because I can only take you as far as I've gone. And if I come into the session and I am not grounded completely, if I'm not aware of what's going on inside my own heart and head, it can kind of affect your session. So the standards that it holds us to is much higher than, say, like Reiki, where you become a master in like a weekend. You know what I mean? Polarity therapy is, it's like a lifelong practice. And so for me, I just love that it gives me a space to explore myself
Mm.
in every way. And it gives me the space to, I mean, now that I'm aware also of like the energy maps and the elements and how my body reflects these things, like whether it's in my tone of voice or my movement or my aches and pains or where I'm feeling good or my food cravings. um it's taught me quite a bit about my autoimmune diseases as well.
So tell me a little bit more about how you use this to actually kind of self-heal from what you're saying, your autoimmune
Mhm.
diseases. If you'll share with us, if you feel comfortable, share with us what did that look like for you in your autoimmune and your health journey?
Yeah. So in my own personal journey, I have implemented polarity therapy along with breath work because I'm a breath work facilitator, and also with plant medicine. But the reason that I love polarity therapy and it works so well with both of those things is because it helps you explore duality. They call it polarity therapy because it takes you through not just the negative and the positive of things, but everything in the middle. Because when we're in balance, we're gray. We're neither bad nor good. We're like okay.
Okay.
Um,
Your piece.
it's helped me in my own autoimmune by giving me just valuable insight. So whenever I get rheumatoid flares, and they have, by the way, the frequency and the intensity of my diseases have decreased by around 80% in the last two
Wow,
years.
that's an
All
awesome
natural. I
number.
have never, yeah, I have not once taken a pharmaceutical. At the beginning when I got rheumatoid, like what was it? I think it was 2 years ago I got it. I mean, I was really sick. My hair was falling out. Um, I had really bad insomnia. You get night sweats with rheumatoid. Obviously, your joints will swell and you lose function of your body for different lengths of time. And the fatigue so bad that I couldn't even like walk my dog around the block without having to just lay on the ground. Um, and that's what led me to Florida, actually, because I used to live in Boston. So I came down to Florida to continue my studies, but also to really just take care of myself. And the way that polarity therapy teaches me how to hold space for myself and how to create a larger capacity for all things, like not stress and overwhelm and things like that, which we all need a capacity for if we are to be well, but also like a greater capacity to love, a
Mm,
greater capacity to receive.
that's a big one. So as I'm
Yeah.
hearing you say this, because this is awesome sauce, because as I'm hearing this, you're telling me your health ailment literally, because I know quite a few people with what is it? I'm sorry, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis.
Hmm.
And to
Hmm.
hear that what you've done literally has helped you get to a place of healing by 80%, and you didn't take any of the actual prescribed meds is amazing, truly mind blowing to me. Kind of walk me through what that process is for you. So you were doing some counseling at the time, and what were the other pieces? And kind of walk us through like maybe a schedule of what that looks like during your week.
It's different every week, but I will tell you that I have a lot of help. Um, and that is actually one of the main purposes of polarity therapy is to give you support, because the Western medicine model, they're not thinking about support. They're thinking about attacking disease, fighting illness.
Mm,
That's
okay.
exhausting. You know what I
It
mean?
sounds exhausting.
Like,
Yes.
I don't want to fight, man. I want to be taken care of. I want to be loved and comforted and nurtured and revived. And so polarity therapy, that's how it helps you. And I have support coming from everywhere. I mean, I have my polarity mentor who I'm still learning with. His name is Brian Jansen. I have a polarity therapist that I see here in Florida. I see her regularly. She also does acupuncture. Um, and then it depends what I'm going through. But I will also work with people who are in different like niches. So like an intimacy coach.
Mm,
Um, I was a trainer, so I understand nutrition and movement like pretty well already, but it's learning how to move my body in a way that isn't like threatening to my nervous system has been something that I actually still continue to have trial and error with.
okay.
Um, so like I worked out yesterday, I lifted weights and I went pretty hard because I've been feeling great. And it did bring on like some inflammation and give me like a very mild flare in my right hand. But that lets me know, okay, I'm just not there yet.
So,
What I need right now is rest.
okay, so that's a good way to put it, because it sounds like what I'm hearing is I'm finally listening to my body. Because
Hmm.
so many times I think we're such in this, especially in our world here, especially in the States, we tend to be hustle and bustle and run and go and do. And in the midst of this, it sounds like you actually took a moment to say, wait, my body is saying something. I need to listen. I need to take a
Hmm.
moment, and whatever this emotional stuff is, I need to release. Let me release it, but also let me do some physical and some body work, some breath work to really get out what it is so I can really feel fully. And then part of it, what I love how you even talked about with the food part was really knowing what's causing some of these things and what can help me heal this. Because a lot of things, and my grandmother used to always say, you're either going to pay the doctor or the pharmacist. It's up to you who you
Uh-huh.
want to give your money to, right? And in
Hmm.
this, you actually incorporate the food. How do you incorporate the food with this? What does that look like?
So that's different for everybody, right? For me, myself, I use like a blend of like functional medicine. So I've had a lot of blood work done. I've gotten foods tested so that I know how to eat that and what to avoid. So things that will give me inflammation, I just avoid. So like gluten, soy, like there's a whole bunch of other things, but those are the main two.
Okay.
Dairy. So I don't eat those things. They'll like literally put me in bed for a week if I eat gluten.
Oh,
It's just not
wow.
worth it. But on the energetics aspect of it, Polarity Therapy actually has its own diets too. So it has like a 10-day diet. Well, you can do it as long as you want, but 10 days is a pretty good amount of time, called the purifying diet, which helps
Oh,
you cleanse your liver, cleanse your gallbladder. It can also help bring to the surface emotions as you're doing all of this cleansing. It's pretty strict. It's like basically all fruits and vegetables, and it's like mostly raw. But
okay.
there's like a special tea that you drink, and there's like it's called the purifying drink that you drink every day in the morning.
Oh,
Um, so following things like that, Polarity also has a health building diet. They suggest the creator suggests that people be vegetarian or vegan. I eat meat, I do, but I do make sure that all of my food is organic and sustainable. And I think that's a personal choice for everybody as well. Um, does that answer your question?
yes,
I
it
feel like I
answered the
forget what you asked
question.
me.
I love that because as you're talking about this, I'm hearing what it took you from with the illness to where you were. And you even talked about, you having a flare up and such. Tell me how, when you were dealing with your illness, how did it affect your mental health? Because I truly believe your mental health is your total wealth. It all comes together. Just like you talked about, this gives the full thing. That's a part of that mental health that gives us the full page. So, did your illness affect your mental wellness for you?
Oh yeah, I mean when I got sick, I was in peak physical condition. I was like 15% body fat. I didn't drink alcohol. I worked out 5 days a week. I had a thriving business. I had like a fun social life. But even though I was in the best shape of my life, um, it did not prevent me from getting rheumatoid arthritis and PCOS. And that is because there is a massive trauma component to all disease and especially autoimmune. So, when my mental health, like when I first got sick, I was like, what the hell? Like I'm doing
I can
everything
imagine.
right.
Yeah, you're
I'm
doing what
doing
everybody say
everything
you're supposed
right.
to do.
Right. And I had been in regular talk therapy too, on and off for like 25 years. So that, and at the time I got sick, I was also like really depressed. And I suffered from a lot of adrenal fatigue. Like when you're an entrepreneur, and also like American culture in general, it's very like results driven, and oh, work harder, sacrifice your health for success. And that's how I was living. So I was like,
Wow.
yeah, just like really burning myself out. And that obviously also affected my health. That still happens, like if I'm doing too much, my rheumatoid will let me know. But I am confident that very soon I won't be having these issues anymore, because my progress has just been so steady over the last couple of years.
That is awesome to hear. This what I'm hearing right now is the comeback. Like I know I was sick at this point. I dealt with the mental health issues in it with being sick, but right now I'm on the comeback, and I so love that because as you talk about this coming back, it sounds like it was the beginning of the birthing process for this business. You said when you were up in excuse me in Boston
Boston.
that you had
Hmm.
this thriving business. All of this happened and this illness came and gave you a new thing to kind of start birthing, kind of the
Mm.
birth pains to a new promise, I would say.
It's been, one of the most beautiful things about this journey has been how to view setbacks and pain and
Mm.
fear and discomfort, how to view those things from a new lens of how is this working for me?
That's
And I'm not
good.
gonna lie, it's been hard, okay? Like they're not kidding. When I tell you that healing is not linear, it's not. I
Mhm.
still have days where I'm like, ugh, enough already, or like I'm not as far as I want to be, and blah blah blah, but that's gonna happen. You're a human. You're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days.
Thank you. I'm so
Um,
glad you mentioned that because people just assume everything is going to be, as I like to say, peaches and creams, but that's not life. We're going to have
mhm,
some ups and downs. We're going to have moments of trials, right? And in the midst of
mhm.
this, you had all this going on, and then the idea comes to start a business, another
Another
business,
one. Another
another
one.
business. Wow. Talk to me about
Yeah.
this new chapter for you because you've made some major steps in this. You've now decided I'm moving from Boston to Florida. I'm now doing stuff. I'm actually putting my health first, not everything else. Talk to us about this chapter.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's been hard. I moved to Florida without knowing anybody. I have no network down here. I have no friends. I have no social net down here. I'm still building that stuff. Because when I first moved, I didn't work at all for like a little over a year, and I just drained my entire savings account, and I
Mm.
used a bunch of credit cards. And I just was like, I am the most important thing, no matter what. I am the most important thing right now. And that's all that matters. And so I put all of my time and effort and energy into myself. And then once I got back to a state of feeling ready to work, I decided to open a business. And I opened my brick and mortar last May, actually, like a year
Wow,
ago on May
congrats.
1st.
I'm here.
Thanks.
Congratulations. Whoa.
Thanks. Yeah. So I have an office here in Jupiter, Florida. I also do see people virtually, but one thing I have learned is that your energy and you are the business when you're the entrepreneur, and your energy is in everything that you do.
Yes,
And
it
so if
is.
you're doing things from a place of fear or a place of lack or a place of insecurity, or greed, you
Mm.
know, clients are going to feel that. And I'm not, it's been hard because I spent all my money. So there were times when I was thirsty. You know what I mean?
I
I'm like,
got you. I
please book
understand.
with me. Please book with me. Um, but the more that I have gone deeper and deeper into myself, and my trauma and my body, I am now starting to see things open up. Here I am with you in
Wow.
this amazing opportunity. I have a meeting. I was invited to go to this like huge charity fundraiser with like the mayor next
Oh,
week.
okay.
Yeah, so and I've had a couple new clients coming in to work with me over the last couple of weeks. So like the more I heal within myself, the more I am receiving from the universe.
I like that. The more I heal, the more I can receive. I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna put my own spin on it, but I like it. I like it. The more I heal, the more I can receive. I love this.
And it's
So,
effortless.
oh my gosh, awesome.
So when
Because
you're
as
in alignment, right? When you're
uh,
in alignment, things just happen. I don't have to hustle. I don't have to go out and like break myself to create opportunities. They literally just come to you.
wow,
But it
I
all
don't think I
starts with
could say
you.
it any better. I mean, you've given me literally you've given me one on that one because I think we're in a society where everything is I hustle and I grind and that kind of thing. But you gave a power statement when you are aligned, when it's the right timing, when you're where you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to be, it will all show up. But while you're waiting, that doesn't mean you sit with your feet crossed and your toes twiddling. That means you actually put in some work in that
Mm-hmm.
process. So I mean, I couldn't say it no better. You gave me a great, I'm going to use it as our closer, because I think it's
Yeah.
awesome to show that, you know what, when you are aligned, everything does come into place. I think that's awesome
Yeah.
sauce. So on that note, I gotta tell everybody, thank y'all for tuning in to the Patrice Brantley Show. Where helping others is the name of our game, and on this show, we push purpose, positivity, and personal growth. Make sure you join us
Thank
next
you.
week as we jump right into this powerful story of leaving a broken system to come back and be an advocate for those in need. Have an amazing day.